Make sure we're live. Okay, we are all set. Excellent. All right, we will go ahead and get started. All right, well, good afternoon. My name is Jamie Chavez. I'm the president and CEO for the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and I'm delighted to spend the day today speaking with candidates for the upcoming election. Each candidate joining me today has a direct impact on Westminster, whether at the county or state level. So I'm pleased to introduce Natalie Menten, who's running for Jefferson County Commissioner in District 2. Since we only have 10 minutes with each candidate today, we'll dive right in and give them as much time as possible to share thoughts and plans. So Natalie, if you would like to start just by giving an introduction to yourself and tell us why you're running for Jefferson County Commissioner.
Sure. So Natalie Menten, running for District 2. This is a note, everybody in Jeffco will vote on 2 county commissioner races. I'm in District 2, which is a central area. I grew up in Denver, moved to Jeffco as a young adult, have a small business background in the automotive industry, co-owning a automotive shop for 2 decades. With a background in business, that gives me a great appreciation for the struggles, the challenges that a business owner faces over time. And that's not only taxes, but of course regulations and the different things that make it challenging for people to get their business done, take care of customers, take care of employees, and all of that. So I want to share that I do understand what that takes. During my time as small business co-business owner, that allowed me flexibility to delve into public policy. The main focus of my public policy work as a volunteer over the last really 3 decades has been a focus on keeping more money in your pocket. With that, my history leads to, 1, being very actively engaged in the property tax discussions that are occurring down at the Capitol. Since the repeal of Gallagher, what is a property tax issue really is a local government issue, meaning counties, cities, special districts. But the state jumped into it largely because local governments weren't responding to the tax burden on citizens. So property tax has been a big part of my history. Also, I'm a board director with the Tabor Foundation, which is the Taxpayers Bill of Rights Foundation. As a board director, but prior to that, just as a volunteer, a good chunk of the last 20, 30 years has been defending our right to those caps on tax revenue so that we're able to keep more money in our pocket, whether that's investing it in a business or investing in a family or your home, your own needs there. And Tabor does allow government generous, in my opinion, growth, though the government will usually counter that they need more. Well, for me, as my history explains, my focus is keeping more money in the taxpayers' pockets. I've also dealt a lot in property rights issues and land use decisions. What we are seeing is a mandate from the state to increase density. We saw that in the recent legislative session where it was Senate Bill 213, having to do with land use, state mandated. And when that failed at the last minute due to an outcry from citizens, then they broke that package of the bill into separate bills and put through parts of it through this year. So I have concerns about the required density and then withholding tax funds if a jurisdiction does not comply with basically a club being aimed at them to do certain things. Infrastructure, water, these are concerns a local jurisdiction may have to deal with before they can take a jump into increasing housing density like is described. We do recognize there's a housing affordability issue, or I do. But to me, that goes back to keep the money in the taxpayer's pocket so that they can more afford that down payment on a house, down payment deposit on rent. Property taxes affect not only owners, but renters and also consumers. From a business aspect, if your property tax jumps, you'll be passing it on the cost of those goods, services. Right now, Jefferson County is proposing a ballot issue for the 3rd time in 5 years to eliminate our property tax caps. This would be such a mistake for the residents to give up those protections. other jurisdictions gave up their caps, which is what ultimately resulted in the state capitol jumping in to create a special session. And here in Jeffco's case, the county now wants to take away not only our longstanding tax protections, but also the ones that would have been then in place because of the special session. Back to my work, I think I've covered it very well. It's really a tax focus regulation issue. We just see with a county, let me go to that real quick. The county, a lot of people don't know, what does a county commissioner do? Well, the state designated the counties to perform the work the state requires, offering a jail, certain other services. A lot of areas in Jeffco are covered up by, or another layer of government is the municipal. So if you look at like police enforcement, that's going to be somebody calling Westminster or Lakewood, something like that. With that, I'm going to just say that the county commissioner is designated to do the state's certain mandated roles. On the other end, a county commissioner should be down at the Capitol, not dependent on lobbyists. The county commissioner is a full-time position. They should be down there at the Capitol, well, more than this, but January through May, fighting for the residents of the area. And frankly, over the time I've spent at the Capitol, which is a lot over the last few years, it's very rare to see our current county commissioner, the person I'm running against, down there. And I'm already spending the time down there. So I plan to do more outreach in the community to be even more effective down at the Capitol. I'll stop there because we're at 7 minutes and I think you had questions.
Yeah, no, that's great. I do have a few questions. How do you plan to engage with local businesses and the chambers of commerce to foster economic growth?
Well, that would be certainly more outreach. Instead of, I look at it this way, I could wait for the chamber to hold a meeting, or I could host a meeting. And I served, actually, I should mention this. I served 8 years as RTD board director for the Regional Transportation District. 8 years elected to RTD. And in that time, we had a lot of public service type meetings, service changes, beeline changes, things that you may recognize in your area. I took great, I don't want to say pride, but I took great pains, let's say actually is better, to make sure that not only the meetings that staff was offering, but that I created my own outreach meetings. And I see that in the same sense for the business district. There are people who do not belong to the chamber. And if there is a business regulation coming out, is proven in my past, if I need to print out 200 flyers to distribute myself to businesses that are affected by that, I will take those steps. So I've taken outreach very seriously over my 8 years as elected and actually in my community volunteer role.
Great, thank you. And how do you prioritize spending and resources to address the needs of the county?
Say again, please.
Sure. How do you prioritize spending and resources to address the needs of the county?
First is looking at what is core functions of government versus what I refer to as mission creep by government. Jefferson County has plenty of examples of mission creep. And that means taking attention away from roads, public safety, the variety of things that one does expect of a county. And it starts, first, when you're looking at the spending and what are the needs, the first obvious step is to get the accounts payable register for an agency, of course, along with revenue. The county 2 years ago eliminated the public check register online. The only way you see the public register now, see what we are spending money on, is if you happen to be a subscriber to the Little Conifer newspaper, because by law, that's the only thing they're required to publish it in. I just recently got the latest check register because what you have to do is submit a core to get it. So that's where it comes down to prioritizing. It's getting down into the nitty gritty, looking at the line items instead of accepting a blank check budget in a sense and rubber stamping it. And I've proved that on RTD, went in as a fiscal watchdog, left as a fiscal watchdog in the 8 years I was there. They knew it. So that is how you determine the priorities.
Great, thank you. There's just a couple seconds left, but if you've got anything final that you would like for the viewers and the voters to know, now's your chance.
I have a small business background. I've not been a public sector employee. So my foundational values as to what is the economic background of our community. I appreciate the business community, the struggles, not having vacations, not getting weekends. I know about all of those things. So I believe I will be a great representative for the business community. My name's Natalie Menten, and they can find my info at Natalie Menten. You see the spelling on the screen, but Menten. So nataliementen.com, and get more information, and happy to talk to individuals separately later if they would like to take that opportunity and reach out.
Great, appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us today. And thank you for all the viewers, and everyone have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.